one, and I am absolutely delighted to have Marina back with us. Many of you watched her story when she came on a few months ago. It got a good amount of views until YouTube classified it as unsuitable and blacklisted it and demonetized it. So please support what we're doing with Marina and getting her voice out there. And her Instagram link is in the description box if you want to support her important work. One of the survivors, Epstein victim number one, as classified in the documents, but very outspoken, doesn't hold back, very brave doing what she's doing. And, you know, many of you saw what we did last night with Juliet Bryant came on and responded to Melania. We're going to do something similar with Marina this evening. And while we are live, if any of you in the chat have got questions for Marina, please put them in the chat and we will get them to her. So huge thank you for coming on, Marina, and we all hope you're doing well.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, Shane sent me this clip on Instagram, and it was raw and uncensored. Let me see if I can get that up there. And
not only was it raw, but I was definitely not prepared for it to go a little viral, though.
Yeah, how viral has it gone?
MSN now has been putting it up. Yahoo News. It's gone a little bit all over the place, so I can't keep up with it anymore. I just wish I would have known it was going to go viral. So I looked really messy in that, and I was, really trying to process what our first lady was saying, and I had some time to process, and I just spilled everything that I wanted to say.
Right, I found it. So I'm going to unmute it and let the viewers hear what you've got to say. Let me just wait till it gets back to the front of it again. And yeah, then we can rip into what Melania said. Absolute crock of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's almost finished, and I'm going to unmute it when this guy starts speaking.
The survivors or the Trump family when the survivors say this.
You want to re-traumatize us and ask us to go in front of Congress and tell them our story, which we've had told some of them already, and then do absolutely nothing. That sounds like a shitty idea. You're just trying to shift attention from something to something else.
Do you stand with the survivors?
So, there is a theory that indeed this is an attention shifting move. Do you think it's to do with perhaps Melania is trying to front run something big that is about to come out relating to Epstein and Donald Trump, perhaps?
100%. When the video first came out, all of the survivors were like, whoa, it's been 9 months. What's going on? This came out out of nowhere. Like, we were not, nobody was expecting this. And we were really brainstorming and trying to figure out, like, what is really behind this? How can this benefit the Trump family? Because at the end of the day, we all know how the Trump family works. It's only really to benefit them. And I think it took about 2-3 days. When I did an interview with Univision, the reporter asked me if I knew a girl named Amanda Ungaro. And I said, never heard of her. Anyways, a couple hours later, I go into my platform and I see a whole bunch of people DMing me and telling me about this Amanda Ungaro, who is a Brazilian girl and was very close with the first lady. And she is just going back and forth. Well, she's going, she's actually going, pretty hard on the first lady and saying, like, basically, hey, I was there for you. We were friends. You used to send, security to come get us. What's going on here? Basically, she was calling the first lady a bitch on her platform. And I think what's happening here is Paulo, I forgot his last name. I'm blanking out right now, but he is really close with Trump, and I guess they were all close with Amanda and this Paulo guy who she married, and they have a kid together. But I guess Paulo wanted to keep the kid they had custody battles, and I guess she was fighting for the kid as well, and it was a whole back and forth from what I'm understanding. And Paulo had asked Trump to deport Amanda. Amanda was held on ice and then deported, and she's now back in Brazil, and she is going pretty hard on the first lady, basically saying, hey, listen, I know all about your business, don't make me spill the beans, because I will spill the beans. And basically, I think she's fighting for her kid. I'm not sure if she has a kid or not, but from what I'm understanding, it looks like almost like a threat, like, hey, listen, either you give me my kid or I'm gonna start talking, So I think this was the reason why the first lady came out with this speech, because she knew that Amanda was going to start attacking her. And she's like, well, what can I do to kind of save face here? So let me come out with this speech, and let's shift the attention back to the survivors, because we have really not been on the news or any platform like that for about a month now with the war. The whole attention has been on the war, which we understand, but the Epstein files now have been kind of, forgotten about in some way. People are trying to keep it alive, but it's just not working, because the war is really taking over, and now the attention is back on us. And it's almost like, what do you mean? You want us to testify, have a public hearing? All of the survivors, I could name you all of them that have been publicly speaking about their stories. They also go on different podcasts and talk about their full-blown story, what they've been through before Epstein, during Epstein, and then after Epstein, which is now. And there's no reason for us to go publicly and talk about our stories. We have done it for Congress in September, not all of them, but some of them. And let's also talk about the fact that the files are out there. We are reading them. We are reading the name of these perpetrators. They are not being questioned. How are they going to put us under oath and question us, but not question these men? That's the question that we are trying to understand here. How did it just become about our stories? And only then the truth will be really basically saying, like, only after we testify and go under oath that's when it will be true. No, we have FBI statements. We have Jeffrey Epstein wrote everything down. There is no reason for us to go on national television and talk about our stories. It is difficult enough for us to, just talk about some of these things, and now to go deep in our stories, that sounds insane. And also, let's not forget, guys, we have forgotten some of these things. We were 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. We are now 37 to, some of the girls are 37 to almost 50, some of these survivors. Some of us can't even remember what we ate yesterday. So how can we testify and go under oath if some of our memories are just, fucked up from all the fucking PTSD that we are now, going through today? We can't testify. We can't remember. That's why we keep asking for 302s in the files,
So Pauline is asking, do you think Amanda will survive this?
I think I think Amanda will survive this. I think it looks like, because I wanted to reach out to her and, just say hi, from a Brazilian to another Brazilian, but her DMs are closed right now. It looks like she is giving some kind of interviews in Brazil. So I think she will survive this. I think she has some sort of protection.
So you've touched on so many important points there, and we're also going to look at Melania's speech again and get more of your reaction to that. But just going back to some of the important points that you've touched on, the Epstein story, it was just news headlines month after month after month. And then they did this Iran war. And if you look at the Google searches, it did drop the Epstein searches. People were looking at Iran more. But now Melania, Trump's own wife, has just completely put it back as the main story.
She had to. She had to. Shaun, if she does not do that, the attention will go to her when Amanda really comes, because Amanda's already coming out on her platform, and she is really going hard on the first lady. She is cursing her out. She is calling her out. So the only thing left here to do is for the attention not to go to the first lady, is to come back to us and put the pressure on us to testify and to tell our stories in public. I think that's ridiculous. Some of the girls don't want to go in deep details. It is re-traumatizing us all over again. I myself have no problem with doing that. But if I am going to testify, We need every man that is on those files to testify.
All right, let's play some of this, because I've watched it a few times now, and each time I watch it, I notice little things that are even more sinister. So we'll look at her words, and then we'll get your reaction. So here we go.
Me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence.
All right, casual correspondence. Let me read this to you. This was in 2002. Dear G, how are you? ? Nice story about JE in NY Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you're very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. Does that sound like a casual friendship to you?
I mean, it's very confusing, right? Because, listen, I've partied with Paris Hilton, I've partied with P. Diddy, I've partied with some of the Soprano people, and I've never, ever gotten close with them, right? I already knew Diddy from when I was like 16, when I met him. Paris Hilton, I already knew it was trouble. You know when somebody's trouble. And I know that in 2000, it was 2002, you said, Shaun?
Yeah.
I know that Jeffrey Epstein, had not yet, been convicted of anything, but they were friends, it seems like. This is what it seems like. It seems like they were very close friends. She couldn't wait to come out to West Palm. She even calls her G. Like, it's a nickname. It's almost like they knew each other and they had a nickname for, she had a nickname for her. It sounds like they were pretty close to me.
So it starts out with lies from the get-go. Let's listen to a little bit more. Here we go.
My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania.
So this is all about the survivors, but hold on a minute. You can read my book and check out that this is legitimate. So she's blatantly using the survivors to advertise her book. I mean, how does that make you feel?
It almost makes me feel that her book really sucks, that she has to use us. She has to use us as an outlet to, advertise her book. I think it's pretty sad. I got to be honest with you. She's a very popular woman. I mean, I feel like her movie and her book, from what I'm hearing, is terrible. I haven't read it. I haven't watched her movie, but nobody has said anything good about her movie. I don't know. I really don't know why she's even talking about her book. And also, none of us survivors thought that she was trafficked by Epstein. This is not us. This is Mr. Wolf that's going on record and saying that he or somebody introduced the First Lady to Trump. So we are not saying that. This is something that she needs to figure out with Wolf. We have never said that she was trafficked by Epstein. We never thought that. This is just now giving us now maybe ideas that she may have. But again, these are all thoughts and, just things that we are just brainstorming here because it's weird.
Yeah, I watched some of her movie.
Someone wrote her book sucks like her film.
Donald's referring to her as the movie star now. What was it, 60, 70 million Amazon invested into it? And it's like she's getting out of like fancy cars and she's giving orders to design this and design that. And it's just an absolute claptrap.
Nothing. And the crazy thing is, here we are going through a huge economy crisis right now. And this is what we are spending money on Melania's movie about her opening doors, from what I heard, and talking a little bit about Michael Jackson, who she does not know her songs, from what I'm understanding. And I think just getting dressed for, and getting ready to go somewhere. A lot of things, I think Jimmy Kimmel said, it was just her opening doors and closing doors. So, listen, I think there's more to Melania's story. To be honest with you, I think there's way more that she could have done with her book and her story to make it actually look like it was her story, because we all know Melania wasn't born into a family rich and wasn't family her whole life. There is a backstory to it. It would have been nice to know about the First Lady's true story.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going with this. Let's see what she says next.
The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI in interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any capacity. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island. I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime in connection with Epstein's sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop.
So it sounds like to me now she's the victim in the Epstein story now, not the survivors. What do you make of that?
No one, somebody wrote underneath, no one has accused of her being a victim. And also I have to say, it's not convinced, it's convicted. It's convicted. She needs to get it correct over there, because she said, I'm not convinced. No, you mean you have never been convicted. We've never said that she is, no one has even, I've never heard of this. And let me tell you, on my platform, I think that I get so much news from the Epstein files and the wars and everything politically that's going on right now. No one has ever said she's an Epstein victim. No one has said that. Everyone has just been saying that she was introduced to Trump by Epstein. Nobody has said that. And then to also say she hasn't been convicted and, convinced, like she said, she hasn't been convicted. And, nobody has. We don't even know why you came out with this. We know why you came out with this, because there is a survivor out there in Brazil that is going to come out and is going to say a lot about the First Lady. She is coming out. This is a true PR, straight up step. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's like, let me get my ducks in a row. This girl is going to come out. She's going to say a lot of stuff about me. Looks like Amanda has receipts on the First Lady. They hung out together. There's pictures of them. There's pictures with them with Amanda's son. There's a lot of facts there. I think the First Lady is very, very scared. And it is exactly what I said from the beginning. What is this doing to benefit the Trump family? Because that's all it comes down to at the end, you know?
Yeah, well said. We've got almost 2,000 watching live right now. And here with Marina. Please support Marina's important work. Links are in the description. If you've got any questions while we're live, put them in the chat and we'll be right back. We just got a 1-minute commercial break. I get questions all the time from people who want to start podcasts. How will I get views? How will I come across on camera? Do you have any tips, advice? Well, despite all of my fears and hesitations, I went for it and launched my podcast. It also helps when you have a partner like Shopify on your side. Get started with your own design studio of hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And what if you get stuck? Shopify is always around to share advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer support. It's time to turn those what-ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your £1 per month trials today at shopify.co.uk/Shaun. Go to shopify.co.uk/Shaun, SHAUN. That's shopify.co.uk/Shaun. Link is in the description box if you're watching this on YouTube. Back to the podcast. All right, let's keep going with this then. Here is the final section. Here we go.
My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. To date, several individuals and companies have been legally obligated to publicly apologize and retract their lies about me, such as Daily Beast, James Carville, and HarperCollins UK. Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
So, when Maria Farmer first reported this to the FBI, God knows how long ago that was now, 20, 30 years ago.
96, right?
They didn't care, did they? And now all of a sudden she cares.
And you know what's crazy? I love how she makes everyone publicly. I was just going over something, how many she's sued the Daily Beast. She's sued so many people for defamation and has won, I don't know how many millions of dollars. She's making all these people apologize. Then she also brings up the fact that she said at some point that some people have stepped down from their position and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so wait a minute. People who are in the Epstein files have stepped down from their positions, but are not getting criminally charged? I'm very confused. And also, these people don't have to go up in public and apologize to the victims, but they have to apologize to her. for, for defamation, and we all know that, she's going to win, obviously, if she's going to sue them. So I find it really crazy that she is making people apologize for mentioning or talking about her when there's certainly, she's saying their allegations and they're not true. And obviously these people, they're going to have to apologize because they're getting sued millions of dollars, and they don't want their companies or their, their platforms to get shut down. And I find it crazy too, going back in the beginning when she said not to believe everything you see because it is ruining her image. I'm very, very sorry, guys. We need to also put in perspective here. The Epstein files are from, I think started in the 80s. There was no AI. And she was around Epstein, from what we're understanding, early 2000s, 90s, right? These pictures have been around since then. AI was not invented there. So we have to also think about these pictures can't be fake. We can't mess with them. These came from the files. They are not fake. They are with her. If she knew these people at that time, at this point, she should just say, hey, listen, I've been in parties. I took pictures with them. It is what it is. I didn't know about their, what was going on behind closed doors. But yet she's saying, don't believe everything you see. We already went through that, where they were telling the public not to believe us and that we were a hoax, right? They were telling everybody. Now, basically, she's coming up and saying, hey, listen, these girls are serious. These girls are real. They're not hoax. Let's listen to what they have to say. I'm sorry. If you want to listen to what we have to say, we have platforms. We go on podcasts. I've been on about 25 different podcasts. I've said my story full out on the open. Deep things that I have not said. We cannot come on the news and talk about our stories because they really only give us 3 minutes. But if you really want to know our stories, it's there. And then I love how she said, and only then it'll be known as the truth. What are you talking about? What do you mean? We have to publicly speak and go under oath. And then you want us to talk about some people. Myself, I haven't been trafficked to anybody, but maybe some of the other girls have. So we have now the names on the files. Everybody knows about them. Nobody's doing anything. People are just stepping down from their position, thinking well, I'll step down from my position. People will forget about me really quick, No, it doesn't work like that. Any average American would have been prosecuted to the fullest. Why aren't these men being prosecuted? But yet you want us to go under oath and then say some of these names that we have been some of these girls have been trafficked to, and then what? Then we get sued for defamation? Or then what? Then we get arrested? What can happen? We've been through some of these things already where we have spoken and then they turn around and then we end up getting in trouble. We end up getting, the fingers pointed at. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did. And I almost want to say we were honored to meet with the First Lady and tell her our story, but to publicly speak about it, if we are, then if I'm going to speak for myself. I don't want to speak for all the survivors because some of them are not comfortable. If I'm going to testify in front of Congress again, because the first time was very, very hard for me. It was before I broke my silence. If I'm going to do it again, and then I have to speak in front of, I don't know how many cameras for how many different platforms, it's very hard and re-traumatizing. I will do it. I have no problem doing and sharing my story. But these men that are on the files need to testify and get criminally charged. We need to hold people accountable for this. This is getting ridiculous now. The corruption is insane in America. It's now become a third world country, if you think about it.
Yeah, let's start with Leslie Wexner, Leon Black, Bill Gates, etc. You got a question from Max. Why does Ungaro call Trump a PDF file husband, and what evil mission involving children did Melania try to involve her in? Do you know anything about that?
Well, I think that the reason why Amanda's saying that, because on the files, we have allegations. We have, I think, 8 pages. I don't know how many pages of allegations with Trump, with President Trump and some 13-year-old girls. It came out on the first drop. Nobody paid attention to them. On the second drop in December, some people started to, get some attention from it. There's a lot of allegations there. There's some serious allegations. So I think Amanda may know some of these allegations and some of those girls. So people are forgetting about that. I can't remember what the other question was, Shaun.
I'll get it back up for you. Why did Amanda call Trump a PDF file husband? And what evil mission involving children did Melania try to involve him in?
I have no idea. I wish I knew Amanda. I would love to speak to her, though.
We've just put a poll up as well. Does Melania care about survivors? And 82% of our viewers believe that she does not care about survivors. Yeah.
Of course not. It's been 9 months we've been talking. And before that, we had so many other girls survivors talking too. What happened in this 9 months that you came out today? I mean, not today, I mean, a few days ago, you know?
So Jennifer's raised an interesting point here. I know this is something near and dear to your heart, is the inversion of what Trump says and how he behaves. And Jennifer's saying, I'm wondering if she married Trump to become a US citizen. So if we look at what she did to become a US citizen, she commandeered an Einstein visa, which is called the Genius Visa for people with extraordinary talent. She used her modeling credentials to get this visa. But it's kind of sinister because you look at Jean-Luc Brunel, you know, he was bringing all these girls in, and the feds were fast tracking visas for them in this pipeline of girls into the Epstein enterprise. And Trump has said, you know, anyone who plays the system needs to be deported, etc. But it seems that there was a bit of playing the system going on when it comes to Melania's Einstein visa. How do you feel about that?
You know, again, it's what is in Trump's favor. It's what's in Trump's family's favor. And I think it's like everyone else, this goes for everyone else except for my family. And it doesn't really work like that. You know, a lot of people, you know, back in the days, this is, you know, they had to find a way how to become an American citizen. And a lot of these people are not criminals. They're just people who came from another country and just trying to live a better life here. Now, if he's going to make that an issue, then he has to make it an issue, including to his wife. I would only think that as well. But I feel like we're drawing attention on the citizenship, which really has nothing to do with the crimes that are being committed today. You know.
And do you think there's any hope?
Sorry, the crimes that were committed with Epstein, and still crimes that are going on now. I'm sorry, I meant to say that.
So you know, here in the UK, we saw Prince Andrew ended up in the cop shop, and one of our senior politicians, Mandelson, is facing very serious charges. Why do you think nothing like that has happened in America?
Who have you heard that has been gotten in trouble? Everyone just steps down from their position. It doesn't really work like that, you know, and I get it because they want to get out of the spotlight, and they figured like, well, if I step down, people won't pay attention to me anymore. You know, it doesn't really work like that. We are still thinking about it, but it's so hard for the public to keep up with it because it's so many names, it's so many news after news. It's like, how can we keep up with it? You know, same thing when we have these allegations that are in the files that are Bill Gates is in there, President Trump in there. There's so many prominent names that are in these 8 pages of these allegations. We're no longer talking about it. We had a girl that was questioned by the FBI 4 times, and they recently just questioned her just last month. They brought this girl up. She's nowhere to be found. Like, no one's talking about her. And this girl was the girl that made an allegation saying that she got pregnant with either Epstein or President Trump, and they made her get an abortion. Where is this girl? Because there's so much news coming out that it's so hard for us to keep up. Again, we have 3 million files. We've done absolutely nothing. We have names. People have to stop asking us to name names that are already out there. It makes no difference, guys. It only makes our job, and it makes it dangerous for us.
Someone said that Amanda came through the Jean-Luc Brunel pipeline.
Huh, Amanda? You know, she might have, because that's a good one. Because a lot of people in Brazil were asking me if I knew him, and if I was, you know, if I came to the United States through him. And I was like, no, but there's a lot of Brazilian women that have come from this Jean-Luc, you know, guy. So it could be. I don't know.
All right. Thank you for all of the questions coming in for Marina. Please keep them coming in. And please support Marina as well with a link, which is in the description. I'll put it in the live chat in a minute. So, Rosebud, Marina, how are you coping now? You deserve a medal for speaking out.
Oh, well, a lot of the women speak out. I have to give credit to a lot of the survivors. I'm a little bit better. You know, I feel like I went through a little bit of a meltdown about 2 weeks ago. You know, sorry about that.
It's all right.
I don't know. I lost you now.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Keep going.
Okay. And I think that I'm coping better now. I'm coping better. I'm taking less interviews, and I think that's what's important here is not to take as much as interviews as I learned my lesson. So I am doing great. I'm trying to really keep up with everything that's going on. It's hard to keep up with the news. I think that's the problem here.
Yeah, it starts to wear you down, didn't it? We did a record amount of coverage in February on the Epstein case, and then I was like, I felt ill for a couple of weeks after doing all that. That dark, you absorb the dark energy, don't you, of what you're speaking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's something that a lot of people don't think how much it really affects us. It really, really affects us in every way, you know, and it's sad. It's sad that we have to keep repeating and we have to keep talking about this and keeping it in the news, you know, and keeping this news alive. You know, it's something that if we just let it go, that just means that, you know, we accept corruption in America.
So my partner Jen has just put a question on the screen. Is Melania the only person trying to take advantage of the victims?
No, other people have taken advantage of us. I feel like a lot of people take advantage of us when it comes to the political parties. I think people take advantage of that. And I absolutely, I'm only seeing this as time goes on. And I absolutely, you know, I like to come on the news and I like to talk about a little bit of how I feel about things and commenting on things. But there was a point in time where it was like we were becoming a political tool, and it's not something. We're not the problem and the why the Democrats and the Republicans are going at it with each other. We are people who are trying to get the truth, get people accountable, get these people criminally charged, right? And we're not here to choose a party, you know. So I think that a lot of people take advantage of us, and we unfortunately sometimes we have to sit back and we're just like, I guess we have to allow them to take advantage of us if we want to get our voices out there sometimes.
Well, one of Virginia's lawyers on Piers Morgan admitted that there were Epstein co-conspirators running black ops on Virginia until the day that she died. Do you feel, you know, under pressure from you know these kind of people operating out of the shadows?
I have not heard about that, you know. I'm going to be honest with you, so I don't really know what to comment on that. I have not heard of that really. I think that, you know, Virginia went through something very, very tough. People were not believing her. People were attacking her. People were discrediting her. And I think that it sucks what she went through. She went through such a huge, huge fight. And then in the end, she's not here with us. And now we have, you know, we're in a better place, right? So I don't know how to answer that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. So keep the questions coming in, viewers, while we are live. And Lucy said, perfect message to Melania, Marina. Melania cares only about herself. So her message is to either get ahead of Amanda or Michael Wolff or something that will come up soon. What do you say to Lucy?
100%, Lucy. I agree with you 1,000,000%. We knew there was something behind it when she dropped the statement. I just didn't know how to respond. People were calling me to comment from every news platform. I had to take a day to process everything. And that's when my video went viral because I did it in my kitchen. I knew there was something behind it. I knew it. I knew it. I did not know it was Amanda. I know Mr. Wolff has been saying it for a long time, but I really, really think this has everything to do with Amanda.
So Katie is saying I should get Ryan Dawson on to talk about this. I just want to mention that I am wearing, let me just make me a little bit bigger a second. I am wearing the Epstein map that Ryan Dawson has put out. We've also got a framed version with all the big names on it on the wall in here. And Ryan doesn't ask for donations, but if you want to support his work, you can get his stuff from his shop. The link is in the description box. He's doing phenomenal work. I will message Ryan after this interview and try and get him on in the coming days. So Sylvie's saying, Marina, do you believe Epstein is really dead? Do you believe Maxwell is really locked up in prison? Bearing in mind all these videos showing different sightings, etc.
I got to be honest with you. I like used to get into that whole conspiracy theory thing, and I'm like, it's just a thought. It's something that you go down the rabbit hole. I really don't think Jeffrey Epstein is dead. I'm going to be honest with you. Knowing Jeffrey Epstein for 3 years, he just wouldn't go down in history like that. That for him sounds like a pussy. Somebody just to walk out and kill himself. It just doesn't sound like him. He's got a huge ego. He's a pride, he's a proud person. He just wouldn't go down in history like that. So I don't think that, him killing himself or somebody else going in there and killing him. He was somebody really important. I don't think he's dead. I think he is somewhere in Israel, like everybody says. It is just a conspiracy theory. As for Ghislaine, people are saying that is not Ghislaine in jail. That there is, that's like a double or a twin, or I don't know, somebody out there that looks like Ghislaine. I haven't really put some thought in that and haven't gone the rabbit hole or, seen, but I did see some videos that she is out somewhere. I don't know about that, but I do think Jeffrey Epstein is still alive.
So, Marina, last time we had you on, you gave a reaction to Pam Bondi, a visceral reaction, because you were in the room with her. She wouldn't even look you in the face and acknowledge the survivors. Since then, she's lost that job. How do you feel about that?
No, you didn't hear, Shaun. She didn't lose her job. She has gotten, what did they say? She got a promotion.
Of course.
That's what they said. She's gotten promoted to a better opportunity, is what Donald Trump said. I have to say, Mr. President, you are very, very smart. We knew you were smart, but I got to say, he is beyond smart. He knew he had to take her off that position and put Todd Blanche in there and become all militant. Like, we are done. We're moving forward. Guess what, Mr. Todd Blanche? It does not work like that. We will be coming in and we will be talking about it more than ever now. And as for Pam Bondi, it looks like she's like, I just got out of that, testifying. So we're all confused here. Is she testifying on April 14th or is she not? Because, Congress is saying, hey, listen, we have subpoenaed Pam Bondi. We have not subpoenaed the Attorney General. Pam Bondi is saying, like, hey, listen, I'm no longer the Attorney General. I don't need to go there and testify. Ma'am, you need to testify. You need to answer questions. You were Attorney General when this was going on, and there are some questions that you need to answer. You cannot go in Congress like you did last time and start, telling everybody off and using, like high school stuff. What she was doing was really ridiculous. Like, offending people and telling them off. It just doesn't work like that. We need answers. We need Pam Bondi to testify yesterday, So I think that in a way I don't know how to feel about this. I'm kind of happy Pam Bondi's not the Attorney General, but then we have now Todd Blanche, who is way worse. So I really just want her to testify at this point, because I love to sit there and watch her. I don't think it'll be in person, but I love to watch her over TV.
So Buck Rogers is pointing out that they cared more about the Dow Jones being above 50,000 points than the survivors. And I'm looking at the Dow Jones futures right now. They're down 600.
It's down
on this Trump scam that he's just pulled, pretending he wanted to broker peace. Absolute crock. We knew it was all a setup, and oil's just gone back up to near 100 again over the weekend. So it's all going to collapse on Monday morning and get even worse. Yeah.
The Dow is up. We have the best president of the United States. Everyone, guys, when the Dow is up, I gotta say, when the Dow's up, it's great when when you're very rich and you're very, you're in a different bracket. It does not help the middle class and people that are struggling. It doesn't help. The Dow only really helps very, very rich people. So it makes no sense for her to say that, and it absolutely has nothing to do with the Epstein files.
And they're tipping their hand as well. They've got their money in the Dow, and that's why it's so important for them to keep it up. Yeah. Now,
when I went to the State of the Union, I saw how it was so divided, and how I looked at these people, and when President Trump had to speak, everybody had to get up and clap, and then you had the other side that wouldn't get up and clap, which is us. We got up and clapped for some of the things that he was saying, but a lot of the things we were like, what are you saying? And looking at that, I was on the top floor and I was looking down, and I just seen how people were like as they were clapping, they're like, yep, I have money in my pocket, I hardly pay taxes, my kid goes to a great school, I have food, my healthcare system is the fucking best, I have high security. We don't care. We don't care about other children getting trafficked or if they got abused. They care about what's in their pocket. They care about what's going on in their family. And they don't give a fuck about anybody else in America, what they're going through, or in the world, because this is now affecting the whole world. Unfortunately, when America's doing bad, the whole world doesn't do good.
Yeah. And, you touched on Todd Blanche. So we judged them not by their words, but by their actions. They said they were going to get in and help the survivors. And what did they do? They rewarded the poster child for human transportation, Ghislaine Maxwell, with a soft prison. And who did that? Todd Blanche. So the rewarder of Maxwell just got rewarded by Trump again by getting Pam Bondi's position. That's what they really think of survivors, folks. Their actions state everything. And you're right.
Wow, the face of the survivors.
Yeah, Todd Blanche is even worse.
He is. He is. He's even worse. He's even worse. It's sad that we are just being dehumanized as time goes on.
Question from Shauna. Michael Wolff is always on the Daily Beast talking about the Trumples. Marina, what is your opinion of him? Do you feel he is guilty by association? There's no way he didn't know something was wrong.
We mean Mr. Wolff or Mr. Trump?
Wolff.
I think he knew. I mean, it sounds like he knew a little too much. That's what I think, because when you hear, the First Lady and Mr. Trump just downplaying him, it sounds like they're threatened by Mr. Wolff over here. It sounds like he's got some serious information that we need to know about. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and look at Bannon as well. That propaganda video he did with Epstein to try and boost his image, and Richard Branson trying to, get Bill Gates involved in boosting his image after the conviction. And these people all pretend to be holier than thou when they get out there and they're speaking to the public. But behind the scenes, we've got this huge glimpse into the reality of their world through what was released. So, all right, here's another one then. Marina, do you think that exposing a global blackmail operation of wealthy elites will fix the power dynamic issues we see in modern classicism? If not, do you have any ideas of what will? Deep question.
Excuse me. I think we are, our eyes are, I think us growing up, we always thought like, wow, like people eat children. Wow, does this happen? All of us, we were all on that conspiracy theory. Like we were wondering if this was true. Now that it is out there, we are seeing it, we are reading it, we're believing it, that this is a real thing, right? So everything is coming out to the open. What's just going on here is that nobody's doing anything about it, right? The government's not doing anything about it. No one's taking action. We have people in other countries that are taking action, but not here in America. And it's sad, right? So sometimes I wonder, will it ever come to a day where these men will be held accountable, or where they will be criminally charged or have their day in court? And I still wonder if that's going to happen. I don't see that happening. I know that I sound like a Debbie Downer, but I really don't see that happening. Not until this administration until Donald Trump is our president. I don't think anything is going to happen. I think we need to wait for a new administration to come in for them to start taking action. So I think that we can talk about this when the new administration comes in. As long as Donald Trump is running and is in office, we will not see a change. We will just see him shifting energy and shifting, conversations from here to here to here to here, confusing the hell out of us.
And that is the bottom line of the whole thing. Why aren't these guys being brought to justice? And I'm even more cynical than you, Marina. I believe the people, we've got this power pyramid. The political class is here. The donor class is above them, the vested interest. And Epstein compromised all of these levels. So for any political party to put these people out there, it just destroys, the purse strings, the very people that are bribing them through political donations. So I think that sadly, whatever party gets in, these levels above them in the power pyramid are always going to be protected. And you also touched on human sacrifice and the ritualistic side of this. And these things have been going on for thousands of years. There's something in human nature where they've sacrificed kids and done these horrible things to them, whatever, for the gods, whatever they called it back in the day. But now we've got technology, we've got the internet, etc. We could shine a light on these demons. Hopefully we can utilize this technology to stop it, to minimize and to expose these people. But it is a hard battle to embark upon because these people are so bloody wealthy and powerful, and they control the media. They control absolutely the movies, everything. So it's really difficult, isn't it? You must feel like you're in a David versus Goliath kind of battle, Marina.
It's crazy. I said it the other day. I feel like when we take 10 steps forward, we take 30 steps back. Like I said earlier, it's just too much information for us to go down and research. Journalists, reporters, they can't keep up with all this news. How much is in those files? We have 3 million files that, everyone's searching just for these, these prominent names. We have so many things in those files that we have not yet even discovered. And when we do discover them, something else comes in. Because let me tell you, when I start going down the list and seeing how many things are in those files, and these are just from platforms that just take out like what's mostly important in those 3 million files. When I start seeing, I'm like, holy crap. Who's really here going to go through all 3 million files? I think I saw one platform that went through 1.2 million files. That's almost half. And that is a lot of information they probably have. It's going to take years for somebody to go through 3 million files. And then we talk about dropping the other 3 million files. I want to drop the other 3 million files, but sometimes I wonder if we drop the other 3 million files, we're just going to get, again, new information, forget about these other 3 million files. There's some serious allegations in there. But then I think these other 3 million files must have some serious shit in them for them not to drop it. Some serious information
that would just turn our belief in the establishment so upside down. There would be global chaos and anarchy. That's how bad I think it is.
I think so.
So we're almost at the hour. So please get your final questions in for Marina now, and please don't forget to support her on Instagram. I'll put the link in the live chat again right now. And so Jesse wants to know, Marina, what do you think would serve the best justice for the victims and survivors?
Well, we all know, I think it's not only about the victims and the survivors at this point, it's about the people. It's about everybody. We have to hold these people accountable. We have to get them criminally charged. We have to protect the children that we have, the upcoming generation. This is going to protect all future generations and the generation that is here. We have to criminally charge them. We have to continue talking about it. And I think the only time that I think we will be satisfied and somewhat happy is when we at least see one person getting criminally charged. We haven't seen one person. I think that's what justice looks like to us. Before we were like, we want to be heard. We want to be heard. We want to be heard. We are being heard, but there's no action. There's nothing coming along with it. It's really sad at this point. It's almost, it's unmotivating us to continue this fight. I'm not saying that we're going to stop. I'm just saying it just unmotivates us a little bit. It gets us a little bit, it gets us sad. It gets us frustrated. It gets us angry. It gets us with anxiety. It gets us paranoid. We feel all these emotions as survivors. I promise you.
Mike, you're asking about Iran having information about the files. We've got Larry Johnson, I think, is going to be coming on tomorrow, one of our military experts. So we'll do a deeper dive into that tomorrow. Jesse's asked a few more questions. What was your experience like testifying? Did you get the sense that you and the other victims were actually listened to?
So I never testified in court. When I testified, it wasn't a testify. I got to speak in front of Congress, and it was about 20 to 25 Congress men and women. And I did it right before I broke my silence in front of the Capitol. A lot of the people there were and they're still behind us. The only person that said, as soon as we came in the room, that they were going to be with us 100%. He even said his daughter was studying to be a lawyer. I was very interested in the Epstein case. Was the Speaker of the House, which is Speaker Mike Johnson, if I'm not right. Am I right, Mr. Shaun? That's his name, Mike Johnson, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. It's so many names that sometimes I can't keep up with it. He was the first one when we walked in. He said he was going to be with us 100%. He was the first person to turn his head on us, to turn his back on us. First person. Sat through the whole thing, listened to us, turned his back on us. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene was there. What's her name? Jasmine Crockett was there. Robert Garcia was there. Jay Powell was there. Everybody, a lot of these people that are with us today, they were there. And they listened to us. They cried with us. They were horrified to some of the things they listened. And they are with us. They're still with us today, and they were with us then. So when we spoke, 6 or 7 of us, it went down the row, they seemed surprised. They seemed in shock. They were sad. They were heartbroken. So they were definitely with us. Some of them did turn their back on us. One of them was Speaker of the House of the Speaker. And it was very sad to see him at the State of the Union just standing up and clapping for Trump. And I was like, what? Like, you were just talking about how you needed to protect your daughter, and now here you are turning your back on us. He doesn't want anything to do with us.
Some people were saying Thomas Massey in the chat. Thomas Massey. He's the one.
He's been with us. Rokana,
Yeah.
Thomas are huge supporters. I don't even have to say it. I mean, come on. Thomas Massey's fighting like it's for his own daughter. I mean, Rokana too. I mean, come on. It's like I can't even describe how important it is to us that they continue to fight with us.
And Trump's calling them traitors.
They're not traitors. They're doing the right thing. Guys, we have to think about this. Like, what are they doing that is betraying our president? He's not doing absolutely nothing to betray the president.
He's trying to protect kids.
Yeah. They're trying to protect their kids, and they're trying to protect us. That's all they're doing. You know, they've tried to silence us and call us a hoax and do all sorts of things. You know, these people are just, these two men are so strong and so brave to stick by us, even through all this crap. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. She had to almost move out of her house, I feel like, because of all the threats. I thought she was going to move out of the country at one point. This poor woman. She was with us all the way. And then President Trump made sure to pull her down and was like, and it's so funny how he was able to do that to her as a woman, but he wasn't able to do that to Mr., to Thomas and to Rokana. So it just shows how much he's an evil person towards women more than he is to men,
Dawn just asked whether you do this on your own or you have legal representatives.
Well, all the survivors have legal representatives. They don't help us do any of these things. Like when we come on and we talk on different platforms, like today when I came on here, I didn't talk to my lawyer about it. I do this on my own. Every podcast, every platform, anything that I do it is just me solely. It's not, there's no, our lawyers do not get involved in any of this. Our lawyers only get, they're only involved when it comes down to litigation and to other things.
Do you and other survivors have more opportunities to do these Q&As with viewers to keep spreading the word and making the movement bigger?
I don't know about the other survivors. All the other survivors, we all work together when we are together, but we all have our independent work. We all have our own goals. Jess Michaels, I think, just did her own app. Lisa Phillips goes to different countries and does she has her own podcast. So it really depends on the survivor. I myself like to talk. I like to do this questions and answers, this Q&A kind of thing. Of course, Shaun, you are like the only one that does the Q&A. I had a couple people that wanted to do that, but it doesn't work out. They get a little bit scared with their platform, and they don't want to, they don't want to put their platform in a.
They want to censor the shit out of you and not allow you to go live.
Yeah, they get scared too, because I do curse. I am raw, and it kind of puts them in a position where it's like, am I going to lose viewers or am I going to gain viewers? But I think pretty soon I will start doing some lives, but I'm scared to do my own live because I'm just a person that I just talk and I say whatever the fuck I feel. So it could be the worst thing. I gotta hold off on that.
Marina, you're an absolute powerhouse. Much love from the UK. We salute your bravery. Is there anything you'd like to say in conclusion to the viewers?
No, guys, I hope everyone has a wonderful, well, you guys, it's night over there, right?
Right now, it is 20 past 10 at night.
Okay, well, I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Don't ever forget to protect your peace, and please keep on fighting for us and with us.
Thank you, Marina. I'm going to let you go and close the show, and you have a great rest of your Sunday. Cheers.
You too. Cheers. Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. What a phenomenal speaker, folks. Absolutely brilliant. Marina, just always on form. There's the link again, the Instagram, put it in the live chat. If you watch it on replay, it's in the description box. Like I said at the very beginning, our first podcast with Marina got shadow banned by YouTube. So if you want to watch the backstory to this, the link is in the description box. And if you want to support Ryan Dawson as well, doing his great work, if you want to get one of these tops, the Epstein tops from his store, that link is also in the description box. I'll put it in the live chat as well right now. I am going to reach out to him after this to try and get him on. If you missed our interview with Juliette Bryant that we did last night, where she reacted to Melania's speech, that was phenomenal as well. Just raw, speaking from the heart, and just totally calling Melania out for the BS and the PR stunt that it was. And earlier today, we had on an ex-male model. We went to the top of the business, Indigo Child, who exposed Jay-Z, Naomi Campbell, and the fashion industry. So if you missed that one, have a look out for that one as well. And let's see what we got coming up in the next couple of days before you go. Larry Johnson, possibly tomorrow, just waiting for a final reconfirmation from Shane, the guest booker. And next Saturday, we have got Gary Wayne coming on Saturday night. This is going to be a good one, 8 p.m., to talk about Freemasonry, history, symbols, and hidden power structures. Ooh, can't wait for that. All right, folks, I'm going to let you go. Going to go and take care of baby Ziggy. He's still awake. He's still partying. We took him to an old school train station today where they had the old school steam trains like Thomas the Tank Engine. He's really into Thomas the Tank Engine right now. And he was so excited. His head was shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking. It was so funny. So right now he's still awake. He's had such a good day. So I'm going to go and check in with baby Ziggy and Jen. Thank you for providing a safe space for Marina with all your wonderful love and support and questions.